Hello and welcome to another update video about Rune. I talked about Rune, back in September, October last year, I think, before the major correction. Since then I haven't really covered Rune because, to be honest, you can't just you can't just cover all cryptos. It would just get too much. But the community has asked now a few times for a Rune update, especially given the most recent price increases and price jumps. And I just want to give you an overview of, I think, where I think we are. Well, generally you can see that the overall chart looks very similar to the chart of many other cryptocurrencies. Overall, what Rune did is it did break a descending trend line here. And before we start, maybe generally similar to other cryptos in terms of where we are in terms of the Elliott waves. Yeah, my view is that, again, all of this here was a larger wave one. Yeah, you can clearly see that by looking at the chart. That was Rune's first major wave one. And this here was, or is, we could still be in it, Rune's first wave two. And overall, what you did here in the overall correction, which started in May 21, is that we did an A, B, C correction similar to VeChain. The chart looks very, very similar to VeChain, with the exception that Rune already started to make a move out of the target area, whereas VeChain still is in this target area. Now, does that mean this move up is sustainable? Well, it could be. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you can see that Rune came all the way down to the 88.7% FIB level. But I am skeptical. And I'm skeptical because Rune did already, back here in July 21, it did come down to the 88.7% FIB level at 288. So actually what you're looking for is a little bit of a lower low. You don't necessarily need it in this case because that wave A came down so low already. So there isn't even much more space for that wave C to go down to. And therefore I say, right, you at least did come down to the same level, so-called truncation. And this, I think, would be acceptable in terms of, right, we could have completed the correction. Rune could have completed the correction technically, okay? So it has done what it needs to do in order to complete the correction, at least the minimum. And we now see, as expected, a reaction to this sort of target range. And of course, I didn't talk about the target area here for Rune before, but you know that for many altcoins, I flag up this area between the 88.7% FIB level and the 78.6 as the area where, with the highest probability, they are turning around. Now, this doesn't mean we couldn't do something here like a more complex correction and that the low was definitely in, just because we have seen here a move to the upside. The thing is, with cryptos, in general, not generally with cryptos, but with an asset like this, you don't need to FOMO in, because typically what you get, if you get from down here, let's say this was the low at around 288, if you, let's say, build your first impulse to the upside like this one, 1, 2, 3, then you would need to get a 4 and 5. What you then get after the fifth wave, you get another ABC. And that is when you then see that higher low emerging, that is another opportunity to get in. Yeah, not necessarily now when we are overbought on the daily, but in that next dip. And if the next dip is a higher low and you had a 5-wave structure here, then it gets much more likely that the low was in. At the moment, what we can see here is only 3 waves so far. So what we now need is a small correction that ideally stays above 597, or let's say ideally above $6, because this would have been a wave 1, 2. If this is a wave 3, you should now come down in a wave 4 and stay above $6. If we take a FIB view here of those FIBs, make that a bit larger. In this current move up, you should, the minimum target would be the 1.618 extension for that wave 3. So if this is a wave 3, you should get to 793, so a little bit higher. Not saying that you will, only if this is a wave 3 you will. But then you get your 4th wave and your 5th wave. The thing is, you're now, if this is a wave 3, you're pretty much at the end of that wave 3. And at the moment, there's still reason to be careful because the overall crypto market is still in a correction. You're approaching a very, very important resistance level now here, the 200-day moving average, which is at $7.85, yeah? So we already reacted to that. And you're also very close to the 61.8% fib level at 880. Yeah, that is still quite a bit a distance away. But the thing is, you only have 3 waves at the moment. And if you have 3 waves, this could be an ABC, yeah, and then you could get 5 more waves down. So until we really have 5 waves here, and then you get your 3 waves down, we don't really know what's going to happen, okay? So this is what I'm looking here at. The positive thing is that RUNE, as you can see here, did break an immediate downtrend. That is good, and we had a strong reaction to that target range. I think, oops, oh yeah, let me take that out. I think what we can identify here is probably, not sure if there was something like a descending wedge going on. This is exactly the pattern that we are seeing with many other cryptos as well that haven't broken out yet. Oh yeah, you can see a descending wedge here. And as I said, this is the pattern that many other cryptos at the moment are doing as well. And we are waiting for various cryptos here for a potential breakout, depending on how you draw it. But you have a descending wedge here, broke out, came down again, found support, moving. So at the 50-day moving average, found support, and we're now at the 2200. So that is now critical. This descending wedge, the price target would be the beginning of the wedge. Now the question is, do you see this as the beginning of the wedge or up here? If we say up here, yeah, the price target would be around $11.50. But again, it is risky at the moment. And at the moment, we don't, it is interesting what the chart is doing. And personally, I would get in as soon as we do this next dip that I showed you, this ABC. And if we then do a higher low, we should get close to that level where we started, or at least here down to $5.11 or something, yeah. This could, of course, be something like another more complex correction, and we have potential to move a bit higher. And as long as you are sort of in this uptrend here, yeah, money can be made, but of course you're already way in now, and we are facing the next resistance. I think we can also be more confident that the low was in if we make, if we are able to break above that 876 level. So that is very important. You can see that previous high, or 880. Yeah, that is the 61.8% fib level. Bear in mind, there is also no reason to FOMO in, because even if the low was in already, the potential for RUNE would be in the next major wave up, yeah, to get to a minimum of $36. So there is still a lot of space for further increases. And at the moment, you're approaching just a range or a level where you're overbought on the daily. And that is a bit problematic, because when you're overbought on the daily, there is a risk that you're losing momentum and that there is profit taking going on. So we can expect here at some point a correction. Generally though, on the higher time frames, there is not such an overbought level yet. So here on the 4-day chart, you're not overbought yet. Yes, you're back in the bullish range here. Yeah, you're above 50, but we do not see an overbought level. And also the MACD is crossing bullish on the 4-day chart, which is rather bullish as well. On the weekly chart, you have a bullish crossover as well. So positive signs, yeah. But because on the daily you are overbought, there is a short-term correction expected. And I would like to see that first 5-wave move to the upside before I get more confident that this is a real pump. Generally, as I said, I am skeptical, because as long as Bitcoin and so on has not completed its correction, I think the entire altcoin market will struggle to really maintain significant higher highs, and there will be another dip. But that is also to some degree just part of the daily volatility of RUNE and of crypto. So message here is, stay on the side of caution. Overbought on the daily. I personally would wait for another dip. Yeah, either the next dip of that wave 4, which comes down to $6, or wait for the next dip and run, and which would be the 5th wave, and then that ABC, and then we could come down to again to yeah, maybe just above $5 again, where there would be another opportunity to get in. This is what always happens in a wave. In the first 5-wave structure, you get your first 1, 2, 3 correction or ABC correction, and that is then typically when there is another opportunity to join the club of profit taking, right? And to start to get in. So that's really my message here on RUNE. There's no reason to FOMO in. As I said, we broke out of a descending wedge, which is bullish. We have a 4-day MACD crossing bullish and various indicators crossing bullish, which is good. But to really get a confirmation that we are on our way to possibly new all-time highs, we need that first 5-wave structure. And imminently I'd be careful, because we are approaching just now the 200-day moving average and the 61.8% FIB level, and we overbought on the daily. So a short-term dip would be expected here fairly soon. That's my view on Rune. Hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment. And if you really like the content, then check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.